California is bankrupt, out of cash, and now, in order to respond to massive storms hitting their state, California officials are begging the federal government to bail them out. But should your tax dollars go to a state that mismanaged their funds and now can't take care of themselves? Here for a fair and balanced debate are Tea Party activist Tony Katz and political analyst Sally Cohn. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Tony, we'll start with you. Gulf states asked for help after Katrina. States in the Midwest right now are asking for help after those tornadoes ravaged their states, Arkansas and Missouri. Why single out California?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and I don't think it's a question of singling out California. It's Abel Maldonado, the lieutenant governor, acting governor, a man who perfectly describes the concept of a rhino, Republican in name only, and you used the right word, begging the federal government for their money back. This conversation wouldn't have to happen. It wouldn't have to exist if taxation was less to begin with. If taxation in Sacramento was less to begin with, California would actually have money in the coffers. They'd have businesses that would want to open here, allowing more tax revenue to happen, and they'd be able to take care of the problem. We don't need to go about begging government because it sends the wrong message, that somehow we, the people, are a tool of the state and we're lucky to get any crumb that comes back to us. It's a mindset issue that has to be erased in order for all of us to do better.
Sally, your nonverbal communication says a lot. What is your verbal response?
So George Washington said we're either a united people or we're not. We live in the United States of America. That's what the founders created. They did not create the you're on your own, good luck with that of America. Frankly, I'm proud to live in the United States of America, where we take care of all 50 states and all 350 million plus people. That's what we do as a nation. We look out for states and other people when they're in need. And I also want to point out it's ironic that we're having this debate about California because, you know, Californians, for every dollar that they pay in federal taxes, California gets back only 78 cents on that dollar in federal services and programs. Whereas the rest of the country, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the South, if you're in the Southwest, you're paying for every dollar that you spend in federal taxes, you're getting back more in federal services. So California's actually been subsidizing the rest of the country for years. So, you know, why are we complaining when they have a legitimate disaster and they need help?
Of course, the federal government may have to cover some of their massive debts. But, Tony, when it comes to those other states, Arkansas, Missouri, with the tornadoes, down south and in the Gulf with the hurricanes, should they not get federal funds when they need help?
I don't think it's a question of whether or not FEMA is going to come in and help people. I think FEMA is going to do that anyway. It's about whether or not you have to beg the federal government for the scraps that's left. Sally's talking about the states, and we're the United States. I appreciate the reminder, didn't need it, but I love the fact that you want to help. But the states have rights, and right now what's happening is that we have a federal government that wants to usurp the rights of states and wants to be the all-knowing, the omnipotent, the all-being, all-powerful Oz. That's not the country we should want to strive to be, because that's not what our founders had in mind. Do I have an objection to people helping the people of Missouri and Arkansas where I'm on the air? Of course not. But I also know that here in California, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, church groups are getting in there and doing the work. They didn't need the government money. They're just taking care of the problem. The people are capable. That's the issue.
Sally, finally, California, if they didn't have this massive debt and hadn't had poor management of their funds, their pensions, the list goes on and on, would they still be in this situation that they need help?
So, okay, look, California is not in a debt crisis because they've mismanaged things. The reason California is in a debt crisis is the reason that actually the majority of states in the United States right now are in a fiscal crisis, and it's because A, we're in a recession, so tax receipts are lower, and B, because at the federal level, which has always helped the states, we've cut taxes at the very, very top to an unprecedented level, and that's why they have less money to pay for. Let's remember, right now, highest tax rate is 36%. You know, under Reagan, it was 50%. Under Nixon, it was 70%. So we've literally sucked all these resources out of the states, including states like Oklahoma
A quick word, Tony.
and Arkansas.
Quick word there.
Higher taxation destroys growth. Lower taxation spurs growth. California would be much better off with a lower tax base. And if they had the lower tax base, maybe they wouldn't have lost a company like Northrop Grumman to Northern Virginia. California, which is aerospace, and aerospace, which is California, lost Northrop Grumman. That's a taxation issue, and there's no other reality.
California got here by cutting taxes.
I tell you what, one thing is
That's
clear.
absolutely not true.
Tony is wide awake at 4:20 Pacific time. Thank you both for being here.
And
Tony
you should see
Katz,
the roads.
Thank you.
Sally Cohn, very spirited debate. Coming up, prices of homes are